Hello, everybody. We're just going to give it a minute here and let people get on. Webinars are a little different. Once I open it, everyone is supposed to load in, but sometimes it takes a few minutes. Just watching my numbers. We had upwards of 50 people registered. I know that just that number of people don't always show up, but all right. All right, well, we're going to get started. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Claire Bondi. I'm the Director of Lay Ecclesial Ministry and Ongoing Formation for the Diocese. I actually had a little surgery yesterday in my mouth. I thought I was going to be totally out of commission, but I'm not doing too bad. And my double chin hides all of the swelling that is down here. So we're all good. I'm gonna pray with you, and then I'm gonna toss it over to Cassandra, who will lead us in today's webinar. Cassandra, if you want to advance to the prayer. So Cassandra and I, maybe Cassandra, we can go back and forth with this. I'll start. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Send forth your Spirit, O Lord, and fill the hearts of your people with an ardent desire to follow Jesus, to be his missionary disciples. Fill us with joy and a desire to know your word.
May we boldly proclaim the good news to others, for when we help others to know that God loves them, they will know true happiness.
Fill us with a deep desire for the Eucharist. May we recognize Jesus in the proclamation of the scriptures and in the breaking of the bread. For when we are united with Jesus, joy is constantly born anew.
Fill us with a true love of neighbor. May we seek opportunities for reconciliation and with big hearts serve those in need. For in serving them, we know we are serving your Son.
With the help of the Holy Spirit, may we commit ourselves to loving you and doing your will.
We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Cassandra's going to present for just a little over an hour, and then she will leave time for Q&A at the end. If you have questions, on the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A tab. You can throw your questions in there at any time. And if it doesn't get answered in the rest of the presentation, Cassandra will address it at the end. There's also a chat button that everyone should have availability to chat amongst the group. So feel free to do that if you'd like as well. And I will turn it over to Cassandra at this time.
All right. So I'm so excited to be talking about Canva today. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. And so our goal for these sessions, of course, are to make simple solutions for your everyday problems. And so we're going to focus on Canva and making easy and modern graphics for your parish, for your ministry. Canva is an online web-based graphic design program. There is a free version available. There's also a pro version available that you would pay for, but they have a program where nonprofits get the pro version for free. So we at the Diocesan Center have a free version. There's other nonprofits that I work for have gotten it as well. So at the end of today's session, I'm going to show you how to sign up for the pro version. It makes it sound like this is like an infomercial or something, like stay till the end. We get nothing for this, just helping you do your ministry better. So let's start with a little poll to see where you're coming from when it comes to Canva and graphic design, and tell us a little bit about you. So we're going to launch the poll. There's 3 questions. And just go through the first couple of questions, answer as many as you do. So the first question is, what communications do you create? So do you create social media graphics and a bulletin and a newsletter, slideshows? What kinds of things are you making? The next question is about what programs do you use? So check all the programs that you currently use to make your graphics or your communications for your parish or for your ministry. And finally, how familiar are you with Canva? So let us know kind of, are you beginner? I've never even logged in, or I have an account and I just don't know how to use it, or I know what I'm doing and I still want some tips and tricks. So let us know where you're coming from and how you're doing in graphic design worlds all together. Okay, we've got a lot of people responding. I'm going to give you 1 more minute to get your answers in. I know there's a lot of clicking. Okay, I'm going to end the poll in about 10 seconds. All right, let's see some results. So hopefully you can see these results. We have people who make a lot of things, social media graphics, a lot of posters and flyers, some people who make their weekly bulletins or their emails, do slideshows. Awesome. We're going to talk about how you can make all of those things in Canva today. What programs are you currently using? So right now we're currently using a lot of Microsoft programs, Publisher, PowerPoint, Word, which are good. And you're familiar with using them. They just have some limitations on how to make things really quickly and beautifully. Some people are using Adobe, which is great. And about 50% of people who responded are using Canva. Awesome. But about 41% of people here have never used Canva. So don't worry, we're going to help you figure it out. And even for you 37% who are very familiar, want some tips and tricks, I'm going to try to throw some in there for you as well. Okay, so here's our little plan for this afternoon. Why are simple graphics important? How we're going to make simple graphics on Canva, and how to get that free upgrade to Canva Pro. So stick around until the end for that important part. Why graphic design is important. So there are 3 reasons I want to highlight for you about why good graphic design is important for you in your ministry. Number 1, graphic design communicates a message. So whether that's PowerPoint or a poster or a social media post or a web banner, all of these things are communicating a message. And we have messages that we want to share. We have the greatest message, which is the good news, and all the supporting messages like the bake sale we have next week, or register for this, or come to that. There are a lot of different kinds of messages, and we want to make sure that we're communicating those to people. And so there are a lot of wonderful ways that we can communicate the good things going on in our church through different types of graphic design. Like I said, social media posts, posters, PowerPoints, maybe you have a projector in your church where you put announcements up before Mass. There's so many ways that we use graphic design in our ministry all the time that we can use to make sure that message is getting communicated. Okay, number 2 reason why graphic design is important. It provides convenience. We all know attention spans are short, and if we want to get that headline out to as many people as possible, we have to share it in a way that people are going to read it. Well, did this work? Did you read this first, and then you read this, and then this one, and then you read this one last? Graphic design has a way of helping the people see what you want them to see by highlighting the things that are most important and leading them to read the rest. You still read that line at the top, but you read it last because maybe that's the least important part of what we're sharing. It can be said, oh, these youngins these days have no attention span, but I think it's across generations where our attention spans are short, and to get good pieces of communication out as quickly as possible, eye-catching graphic design, modern and simple graphic design can do that. Lastly, graphic design creates an emotional bond. Okay, go with me a little bit here. People become emotionally attached to brands, colors, and logos. This is true for consumer products, for sports teams, for organizations. So I threw together some brands, some logos and branding, the colors that might evoke emotion for people. When I see that pink Barbie head, I feel the joy of playing with Barbies as a young girl. Or when I see this nasty Patriots logo, I'm angry and frustrated that they're cheaters and that they beat the Jets all the time. There's different kinds. It can be different kinds of emotions that get tied to these brands. When I see that Starbucks logo, it's familiar. It can be out somewhere in a city I don't know, but that green mermaid, I'm just like, I know I'm going to get my comforting cup of coffee. And this is my high school logo. I'm currently in a Facebook group of people who are preparing for our 20th high school reunion. And someone was talking about, hey, does anyone else wear their gym uniform t-shirt to bed still? I was like, well, I definitely don't still have that. But some people just said, like, that Wildcat is so comforting to me. And it's such a comfy shirt. But it's that nostalgia. We get connected and have feelings when we think of brands, and just looking at a picture can evoke those emotions. It doesn't necessarily have to be a logo either, right? So we look at this Shreddies box. To me, what like stands out here is those color changing spoons. Anyone remember when you used to open the cereal box and you got like the prize right inside? You don't have to like clip anything. You just open the box and you got a thing. I remember the color changing spoons. And so to me, like seeing that on a box, an old box, brings back these memories. It's a fondness that I have because of the branding. They just put something in the box and put it, it was part of who they were as a brand. And I look at this National Geographic. This is from 2018, I think, this National Geographic cover. But that iconic yellow border around the National Geographics, maybe you had a grandfather who collected them, or I had a teacher who collected them. I just remember like those stacks. And so seeing the cover of this magazine brings me back. It has an emotional connection to something that I experienced. And I don't have to see the original stack of magazines, just seeing that like iconic color and the way that it's branded, the graphic design of it is what brings the emotion for me. Okay, so I highlighted over here some reasons why graphic design is important. And again, we have the greatest message of all to share. So if we have this great message, we want to provide it in a way that's convenient and that connects with people. We want to meet people where they're at. And where they're at is with a lot of graphics and media around us. We are surrounded constantly by media. And what the church is often doing is coming at people with things like this, with bulletins that are crammed with words and some old, maybe bulletin clip art. As I was Googling for bulletin clip art, I was like, they still sell this on Amazon, a church bulletin clip art CD-ROM from 1997. But no, it's not available. It is unavailable. We need to look at more modern design. We need to look at things that are going to grasp the eye, not only of the people who are sitting in the pews, but of the people who are not sitting in the pews. And so we know, especially for millennials and Gen Z, good graphic design is really going to help draw people in to the message that we have to share. Not only that, bad graphic design can sometimes turn people away. Okay, so there's a lot here about good graphic design. Okay, Cassandra, I hear you. I'm getting why this is important, why we want to look for things that look great and connect with people. But like graphic design is a lot. There's a lot of elements of how to make something look good. How the heck do you expect me, I'm not a graphic designer, how do you expect me, the secretary or the pastoral minister or the pastor, to figure out how the heck to create beautiful images that are going to draw people in and connect with people? That is where our good friend Canva is going to come in. This tool is going to help you make these graphic designs modern, simple, and easy for you to make. And so I'm going to walk with you today on how to make a few things, give you kind of the standard operating objectives of Canva and how to use them, a couple of tips and tricks that we use as a team. So here are some of the images that I've created on Canva. Okay. And so the options are really endless on the things you can make here. So banners for newsletters. This one here is from the Good News Notes. I do a lot of work for my own family parishes, the East Windsor Catholic Family of Parishes. So these are website buttons or our Christmas Mass schedule that was on our social media. Again, this is a Good News Notes banner. This is a postcard that we created that could be sent to the children before their first day of school. And so we designed the whole postcard right in Canva. We've also created documents in Canva. So maybe you've seen some of these before, some nurturing joy documents. All of this graphic design is done in Canva to make it look, beautiful and easy to use and designed. We've also created newsletters. This is the Holy Family Retreat House newsletter. It's 4 pages. This was the first one we did, but they've taken this template and used it over and over again to create a standard newsletter that follows their branding and that people know when they get that newsletter with the light green on top, like, okay, that's a Holy Family newsletter and I want to read the information here. You know, we look at things like, yeah, there's a lot of words on here, but we also use a lot of graphics and images to draw people in and give people that one, the headline that we want them to read, but two, that connection that they're going to have when they see, oh, I remember sitting in that room at Holy Family Retreat House when I was in high school, or whatever those connection pieces are. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. So now we're going to jump into Canva. Now, hopefully you can still see this because I don't see my, okay. If you can't, someone let me know. But now we're looking at, this is the Canva program. So this, like I said, is an online program. You're going to go to canva.com or you're going to go into a Google bar and type Canva and it's going to pop up. You do need to register for this. So you can just use like a Google account or you can set up your own Canva account to register for Canva and make yourself an account. A lot of the features that I'm going to talk about today are from the pro version, because like I said, you can get that pro version for free. And there are a lot of wonderful elements there that I don't want you to miss out on. So I'm going to be using the pro version today. And so if you have the free version right now, you may not have access to all of these elements, but you can get it. Like I said, we're going to get to that at the end. I promise, I promise. Okay, so let's just take a little look around here at Canva. This is the homepage. So when you log in, this is what you're going to see. You have a bar here. What will you design today? And you see you could type in a lot of things. You can search your own projects or templates that Canva has for you. Make a lot of different things. It gives some examples here, but there's more. There's more that aren't even on here of all of the kinds of things that you can make. For each person who logs in, this is going to look different because Canva is going to learn what you like to make and how you like to use Canva. And so it's going to adapt to your use as you continue to use it. So the best way to start a program or to start a design is to come up here to this button. We're going to create a design. I thought we'd start pretty easily with a Facebook post. So you can see I have Facebook post suggested, but if I didn't, I would just type in Facebook post. And it's giving me a couple options here for different sizes. And so we're going to click on one of those. I actually just started one here just to give us a head start. I really have nothing on the page. It's just a white page. So as we click in, we're going to get a blank page of what could we create. And on the side, we're given, and here's where I talked about it being simple for you to make. We're given templates that have been created by other people. And so I don't know, here it's showing me a lot of certificates, but we're going to make a Facebook post for a vacation Bible camp. We're going to use the East Windsor Catholic Family Parishes. And what could we want to make a promotional post for Facebook about Bible camp. So I'm going to look here and see, I wonder if I could just use a template that already has something to do with a kids camp. So we're going to just type in kids camp. Maybe Bible camp's a little too niche, a little too specific, but oh, look, here's a lot of options for kids camps, kids camp promos. So we're going to use this one right here. Okay, I actually created this for my family parishes already, but I'm going to walk you through what I would do to prepare and make this our own now. So I'm going to close the templates here. See this little arrow, we're just going to close that. And I put in this notes section down here what information I want us to have on this Facebook post. You don't have to put it in the notes section. You could have it on a little piece of paper. You could have the bulletin announcement in front of you and go, okay, what information from here do we want to put on this graphic? We're going to start off by changing the name. So we call ours Vacation Bible Camp. Okay, great. Except these words here, we're going to have to move, but we'll get there in a second. Because this is a Facebook post, the best practice for a Facebook post is to actually not have too many words. So all of this information down here is too much for a Facebook post. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of this stuff. We can put more information in the text of our Facebook post when we actually put it on Facebook. But for now, we want that eye-grabbing visual image to capture people and draw them in to want to know more about our Vacation Bible Camp. And so I'm just grabbing this text, clicking on it, and dragging it down to the bottom. We're going to use it on the bottom of the page instead. But we've run into another problem. You can't see it. It's the same color as this grass. So I'm going to show you some of the ways that we can change text. So we're going to go up to the top and there's a lot of things. We could change the font. We could change the size of the font. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to change text color. So I've clicked on this little color icon and on the side, our color bar has popped up. On the top of the color bar, you're going to see all of the colors that are currently being used in this design. And so it's good to keep a color palette of fewer colors. Fewer colors is better. And so I don't want to really embark on a lot of new things. So to make this text pop on this green background, I'm going to make it white. Oh, look, now we can see it. And so we could change other colors of text as well. We're going to get to more color changing as we go through. Okay, so we've changed our color text. Now we can see it. I just clicked off of that. I just clicked on the side and you can see that that color bar went away. I'm going to bring my notes back up here so we can see, okay, what information we are going to have fun activities, maybe sports, but this isn't the information we want to share. That's just what was in the template. So I'm going to go over here and are discovering the building blocks to a strong relationship with Christ. That's what we're doing at Vacation Bible Camp. So I'm just copying and pasting that in here. And I want to drag it so that it takes up the whole bottom of the screen. So I'm just going to take these sidebars and I'm going to drag it across to make it nice and wide so that it just takes up that whole bottom of the screen. Okay, so it's getting to be a little more personalized, a little more for us. We got to change a couple more things though. First off, ours is not July 20th, 29th. Ours is July 10th to 14th. Oops. July 10th to 14th. And I'm just going to press enter and put it on those two lines again. Ours is not $299, but honestly, the price is pretty low. And I think that's something that we can put in the text. What I want to put here is ages 5 to 12. I think that's important for people to know what ages we are inviting to join us for a Bible camp. So I'm going to put ages 5 to 12. And I'm just going to move this so it's a little more centered. I'm just going to click and drag it. It's all pretty intuitive. So if you are used to Word or PowerPoint or all those things, it's the same kind of thing. You're going to click a text box and you're going to drag them. All of these boxes get highlighted as you roll over them. Okay. There's one more piece I want to put here. I just want to add games, crafts, friends, and treats. So I'm going to add some text. So if you see on the side here, we haven't really added anything. We've used all the template stuff. We haven't really added anything. So we're going to go over here to the side and we're going to add some text. And that gives us an option to drop in a text box. So we're going to add a text box and it's going to pop up right in the middle there. And we're going to put, what did I say? I'm going to copy and paste from our notes. So I did have a question. I'm going to answer this as I go. So I don't see where you grab that information to the left. So at the bottom, I have a notes tab. I plopped this in here. You could have this in a Word document. You could have this somewhere else where you're copying and pasting. This was just for ease of my own creation today. But I'm going to paste in games, crafts, friends, and treats. And we're going to drop this down here too in the middle. And I want the text, the font to match the font of the rest of, I guess this matches these ones, but I want it to match that kind of bubbly, fun font. So we're going to go back up here to our text box at the top, all of our text information. And I'm going to change it like the colors. It shows us what fonts are already in this document. So we're going to use Mango, that fun one, to tie it all in and make it extra fun. And I also want to change the color of that to white. So pops off that green there. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Vacation Bible Camp has all of our information. We could really publish this and run with it and go with it. We're going to take this one step further. We're going to make this a little bit more on brand for the East Windsor Catholic family of parishes. And so a couple of the things that we're going to do that is change some of the colors. So the East Windsor family, I use a specific set of colors for a lot of our social media. And we're going to find that in our colors here. I'm going to show you, I'll show you a little bit about your branding in a minute. At the very end, we're going to talk about the brand hub. But I have all of our social media colors in our color box here. So I'm going to change all of the blues to our light blue. I clicked on that font and I changed that. I can change the color of a lot of our elements too. So these graphic pieces, little squigglies. I can go up here and change the color to a lot of those. You can't change the color to all elements on Canva. You can to a lot. So if that box is up there, you can change the color. So we're going to change it to our blue. I'll pull it from here. This is where our blue is at. I'm also going to draw your attention to the bottom here where it says change all. So I want to change all of the elements that were that teal to my light blue. We're going to do the same thing over here with these like yellow. We're going to use our bright yellow, and we're going to change all of the elements so that I think there's actually two here, the squiggle line and the blob. They're two different elements. So now we're just changing the colors of elements to match the colors that we use on our social media. The same thing for green. This grass part here, I can click on the color and change the grass, and we're going to change all that green to our green. So now it's looking a little bit more of the colors that we regularly use for our own social media here in our graphic. The last thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of our brand, of our imaging. So in the brand hub here, we actually have all of our logos. So I'm just going to add the little like weave cross logo that we use right up in the corner. So people know, hey, that's the East Windsor Catholic Family Parishes cross. I know that it's coming from us. So here we go. This is what we're going to use as our Facebook post that we pulled from the template. I don't know how long that took. I'm going to say probably without me explaining, could have taken as little as 10 minutes to go through and create it. Oh, I want to do one more thing with you, actually. These kids are cute. Like, right, they're cute. They look like summer camp. Maybe we want like a little bit more Jesus, a little more Jesus-y vibes on this post. So I'm actually going to delete all these kids. Bye, kids. Oh, all the elements. I'm just clicking on it and pressing the delete button on my I'm pressing the delete button on my keyboard, but you could also use this little garbage can here and delete it. Back over where we found text, we have a box here called elements. Elements holds a lot of things that you can use to help make your graphics pop. And so I'm just going to go to the top of that elements box, and I'm going to put Jesus with kids or children. Let's do children. Jesus with children. Okay, and it gives me some options. There's some graphics, there's some photos, there's some videos. I want a graphic. I want like a drawing or an illustration of Jesus with some kids. So a bunch of them pop up. All of these are pro. They're for the Canva Pro user, but they're free to use once you have that. So you can put all of these graphics on your designs and post them free of royalty use because they're part of that Canva subscription that you would have. So I'm going to click this one. I like this little one of these kids. I just clicked it and it popped in the center here, and we're just going to arrange it so that we have kids running up to Jesus. And now it's a little bit more, Bible campy than just everyday camp. So here we go. Now we're solidified with this is our Facebook post. All the rest of the information for Bible Camp, we're going to put in the text of our Facebook, and we're going to draw people to come to our website to get all the information. But this is it. Okay, so now how do we get it so that we can post it? We're going to save it to our own computer. Up on the right-hand side, we have a button called Share. We're going to click on Share. And in Share, we have an option to download the image. So we're going to go here.
Cassandra, sorry, do you want to change the name of the file first?
Oh yeah, we can change the name if that's a good idea. So up here at the top, before we save it, just so we know we're saving it, it's going to come. And I did name this one already, but we're going to call it Vacation Bible Camp. You just click on that title up there and you can type whatever you want. And that's what your file is going to save as when you download it. So now we're going to go back into Share, Download. And it gives you options of how you can download this, different file types. So JPEG or PNG are files that are used for graphics, things you're going to post on social media or upload to an email as like an image, a picture. But if you're looking to print something or attach it as like a file you want to attach, so maybe you're making more of a document or a newsletter, you can also save them as PDFs. And I mean, you can save it as these other options too. But for the most part, what you're going to work on is these image ones and the PDFs. I'm going to keep it as a PNG. That's what it's suggesting. Often I just go with what's suggested, and we're going to press download. And automatically this image, you can see it popped up on the bottom of my screen here. It's going to go to the downloads file of my computer. I'm going to have that, and now I can upload it to Facebook, or I can put it kind of wherever. Okay, so we've done some of that work to make this beautiful image. The thing is, we want to create more than just a Facebook image for this particular event. We also want to create a printable kind of poster that maybe could get put in the schools. I know it's the last day of school. We're going to pretend we did this like a month and a half ago. We want a poster that maybe we can print in schools. Even that's something we can create into like a flyer that we can hand out at the schools. So we are going to adjust this to create it into an additional document in the right size. So what we're going to look to do is to create a letter sized poster out of what we've created here. Again, this is a pro feature, but it's so useful because you don't have to redesign things over and over and over again. We're going to go to resize, and I'm just going to put in flyer. So I want to resize this image into a flyer format. So I want to create, because this is kind of already in a landscape, I'm going to keep it landscape just for ease. We're going to create an 8.5 by 11 flyer. We're going to copy and resize. If we don't copy and resize it, we'll delete this Facebook version. We want to keep both of them. So we're going to copy and resize into our 8.5 by 11 landscape flyer. So as I click that, it opens a new tab for me on my web browser. And it has now formatted this into the right proportions for a flyer. And so all the same images are there, and we can now print this just like it is. Maybe though, maybe you do want it to be up and down. You want it to be a portrait flyer. Let's try that. So we're going to go flyer again. We're going to click the portrait one, and we're going to copy and resize. So now we're going to have this in 3 versions. Did I do the wrong one? No, I didn't. Okay, so here we go. We have it in 8.5 by 11. Now, it was originally created to be that other size, so it doesn't perfectly fit. So we can make a couple of minor adjustments to make this fit perfectly on this page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag to select all of this top stuff. I'm not going to click the bottom stuff right now. I just want to move it up a little bit. Okay, moving this up. At this point, it's just kind of shifting. We don't have to recreate the whole thing. I'm also going to take this square. So the bottom part of the grass was actually created with just a shape, a rectangle. And we can resize these. Anything that has these little rectangular tabby things on the tops and sides, we can resize, kind of like cropping or expanding. So I'm just going to drag it up and drag it down. So the whole bottom portion of this poster now is this green part. We're going to keep this information here. This is getting a little hard to read, so maybe we want to make it bigger. We want to make the text bigger. So we're going to have to crush it down to a couple of lines, but we can take this circular dot and we can just drag it bigger. It's going to change the font size up at the top, as you can see. We can make it small, we can make it big. It's always going to change the font size for us. We're going to add that there. We could also add things like that information. Oh, I guess I don't have it here, but maybe visit the website or East Windsor Catholic or contact Maria. So we're going to go back, we're going to add text. We're going to go back, we're going to add our text box, and I'm going to paste in the information. I'm going to drag that to the bottom too. We're going to go up to our text color. We're going to make that white. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, here's a trick. We're going to click off of it and click back on. When you're in the mode of editing the text, sometimes it won't change all the color. You may just have to click off of it and click back on to reselect everything. You could also go through and just highlight all of the text and make it white. Did it do it that time? Yes, it did. And I want that nice and big. And again, I'm just going to drag it to the center. As you notice, as I'm dragging things, there are some lines popping up. So see all these dotted lines, the pink lines. It's just telling you your spacing and your centering. So as I kind of drag it towards the middle, I'll see a center line pop up. And I know that I'm kind of centered there. There's another way to do that too, and I'm going to show you that in our next image. I'm sorry if this is very overwhelming. I want to try to show you as much as I can. But if there's parts of this you're like, oh, that's too complicated, all I want to do is just make the Facebook post, like that's fine. That is totally cool. And you can just use one of those templates and make the adjustments you need to make. I just wanted to add some of those tips and tricks for people who have used it before. Okay, we're going to leave this. I would tweak this a little bit, but for the sake of what we're doing, we're going to leave this. And this one we want to print. So this isn't going to be an online version. We want to print this for our schools and our parish to hang around. So we're going to go to our share. We're going to download this one and we're going to change it to the PDF print and then press download. And now we're going to see in our downloads file, Vacation Bible Camp, the PDF version is now downloaded, and we can just go in there and print that like a regular PDF. Okay, we're going to put a pause on this beautiful Vacation Bible Camp. We're going to try another design. Give us some more things we can do and use here on Canva. Okay, so one of the things that I use Canva for when I work with the East Windsor Catholic Family of Parishes is we do a lot of our website design on Canva. So the banners we make there, these little buttons, all of these buttons were made using Canva. And so one of the things that gets tricky on websites is like every little thing and every design that you use, every website is different and they have different dimensions of things. Even banners on websites can vary in dimension. So if I were to just go into my Canva and put website banner, it could be a variety of different dimensions of how many pixels tall and how many pixels wide. I have created, though, a template of my own for our web banner. Our web banner is always the same size. So I have created a brand template, and I will show you how to do that in just a moment. But I'm going to click open this brand template. And when I click on this, I'm going to use the template, which means it's going to create a new version using the same size and dimensions and qualities of the template that I've created. So now I know I have the right dimensions, even some of the right fonts and colors that we use for a lot of our website stuff. Let me just make sure I'm getting the right thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a website banner because our priest is celebrating his anniversary of ordination, and we want to put that on the banner and like congratulate him for the week. It's a big anniversary. So what we're going to put is some text to talk about congratulations, and we also want to put a picture of him. I don't have a picture of our pastor, but I'm going to use a picture of just another priest that I have. Okay, so go with me. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to delete this. We don't actually want to keep that. And maybe we'll just edit this. But for now, we're going to input a picture of our priest, our very own picture. So this isn't something that we're going to be able to go into Elements and say, find a picture of my priest. Like that's not going to be there. We could find a picture of a priest. So I just typed priest into the top of the Elements. And again, it gave me graphics. It gave me pictures. There are actually some pretty good Catholic photos in the Pro version of Canva that you can use for some of your elements. But that's not what we're looking for now. We want a picture of our priest. So we're going to upload a picture of our own. So I'm going to go on the same bar over here is uploads. And at the top, we have a purple button that says upload files. And here's a bunch of my files. I thought I had a desktop Canva picture. See, I knew I put some in here. So we're going to pull this picture of Father Jim. It's already in there, but you're going to see it collects all of the images that you upload. And when you click on it, it pops into your image. So again, we could just leave this nice square rectangle and put happy anniversary. And what should we put here? 40 years of priesthood. I'm completely making this up. This is, I don't know how long Father Jim has been a priest, but so we're going to leave those there, and we could just leave it like that. But we can also do a lot of things with pictures and images in Canva. So let's explore a little bit what we could do with this picture of ours. I'm going to go back to elements. Like I said, elements is where a lot of things live that you may want to use. Things as simple as lines and shapes. So if you want to drop an arrow or a shape, those shapes that we can move up and down and side to side and change the color of. We don't want a rectangle right now, though. I'm going to delete that back. What I want to do is I'm going to scroll down to frames. So if you see this lovely cloud with hills, these are frames for images, for photos that are available on Canva. So here we have frames of different shapes and sizes. So we could pop in a circle frame. And all we have to do is take the image that we already have and drag it over that, and our image is going to pop in there. Okay, so we could put this in a little circle, make it nice and big. And now we're adding a little bit more graphic design to it. What else can we do? We can go into back to frames. Let's say we wanted to put a couple of pictures. There are also grids. So this gives you the option of, I want to have 3 images and I want them to be evenly spaced out. Oh, I don't want to take the whole thing. So we can resize. We can squish it down this way. We can squish it up and down this way. And we could go to our uploads and pop in a picture of these priests. Look at all these priest pictures we got here, and drag them and add them, adding a bunch of pictures there. That's not what we're going to keep here. We're going to delete that off. We're going to keep working with this picture of Father Jim. So here in this circle, I'm just going to hide this again just to give us a bigger, better view. I want to do a couple of things to this. One, this is really about Father Jim. So I want to crop this image. I want to change some, maybe we can get the other guys out. We really just want this to be about him. So I'm going to click crop at the top. You can also, and that gives me the ability to stretch this and just make it inside that circle. Keep stretching until we just get his smiling face in there. Look at that, we got that. You can also do the same thing by double clicking on that picture, and then again, it will let you crop and space things out. You can even rotate things inside of that. We want them to be straight though. Okay, so there we go. That's looking quite nice. Happy anniversary, this nice picture of him smiling. I want to show you another design element that I really like though. So we're going to delete this one off, the circle. We're going to go back to our uploads and upload that same picture. Click them in there. Come on. Okay. Drag them back over here. And now what I want to do is go to edit image. So we have the opportunity, the options to do, let's click out of this. We don't need that right now. To do some different things. We could change, adjust the picture. We could add a filter to the picture. But what I want to show you right now is something called the background remover. This is super handy. I use this element probably more than a lot of others. So what this does is this automatically is going to remove the background from the picture. So now instead of being in that room, they're just kind of floating in space, but it gives us this like cool graphic element. So we're going to apply that. Again, I just want Father Jim there. So I'm just going to take these sides and I'm going to cut the other guys out. Sorry, other guys. I'm going to cut them here. Pop it up and make them bigger. And there you go. Now, you've got this nice picture of him and you don't have that background around. It's just him celebrating that anniversary. Okay, we're going to do a couple of other things here in this image to show you, because maybe we want that rectangle, that shape that we talked about before. So we're going to go into our lines and shapes, and I just want to lay down like a rectangle behind, just to give it some visual diversity. And I just want to put it maybe right behind him here. Let's stretch it and go all the way to the end of the letters. Here's the thing. Well, first we're going to change the color. This is not really our color, so let's put in that light blue. I don't know if that works. Oh. I don't know, we're just going to go white because I could play with colors all day long, and that's not what this part's about. Okay, so we want to put this white square rectangle at the back. At the top here, we started looking at, fonts and text. There's a lot of options up here to work with your text like you would in a Word program. What you have here though is position. That's also up at the top. And so this is going to give you the option to adjust your layer. So here over on the side, it shows all of the different elements and how they're layered one on top. So, Father Jim's behind all of the things. He's right here at the back, and we want to pull him all the way to the front. So all I'm going to do on this section is I'm going to click on him and drag him to the top. And then we also need this text to be at the top. And so there we go. We still can't see this. So maybe we just want this, like this strange box behind him. Not sure. That's an interesting graphic element, but it does kind of look cool. So we're going to leave it there. In that same positioning area, we can position our elements that they align really nicely. I talked a little bit before about those dots, the lines that like help us find the center or arrange things. But what's the easiest way to do that is to go back to your arrange. And let's say we want all of these texts or these lines to justify to the left. We want them all to like be lined up on the left. So they look really crisp and clean. We can just go over here and go to align elements. And we're going to click left, and they automatically are going to go to the left. If we were to click center here, they're going to center on each other. Now, both of these are left justified, so it doesn't look as great. But if we were to center them and we wanted them centered, we could also do that. Happy anniversary, 40 years of priesthood. There's another option here. If you had a lot of things, maybe you have 3 boxes. Okay, we're going to make 3 boxes. Again, this is just to show you little things that you can do here. We're going to duplicate these boxes. We want 3 of these strange rectangles. And so we have 3 of them. We're going to highlight all of them, clicking and dragging on just those 3 elements. And we're going to go back to our position. And what I want is I want these to all be spaced out evenly. So over here, we have an option to space these out vertically evenly. I click that button and they have the same amount of space between each rectangle. I also want them to be justified all to the same side. So I want them to meet up all on the right side. So I'm going to click right. And there we go. We have these 3 rectangles that, again, add this strange little visual element, but they're all evenly spaced out and justified, that we can do all of that in that positioning tab over here. It also gives you the option to align things all to the top. So now they're all at the top. I don't want to do that. I'm going to press undo. If you are to click one element, so let's say just this happy anniversary element, and you go to position and you click center. So when I had 2 clicked and we click center, they centered themselves on each other. If I have one element and I click center, open that position back up and click center, it's going to center it to the center of your document, of your image. So now this is in the middle of this banner. So again, I'm going to go back. I want to put this left justified, and I want to make these so that they all are aligned to the left. And I don't know, I'm going to keep these weird rectangles. Maybe not this one. Oh, maybe we'll put this one behind him too. Maybe we're just going to delete them. It is weird. I was just wanted to show you something, but okay. So here we go. We are going to download this, and we're going to change the name. Just click Father Anniversary. And we're going to go click download, and we're going to download as a PNG. We're going to be able to put that on our website banner or as a Facebook banner. Again, we could resize this to adjust it. Maybe we also want to make a Facebook post out of this. And so we click on resize, and we put Facebook post, landscape, and we copy and resize. And now it's going to create another version of the same thing already in Facebook size that we barely have to. Oh, it's squished on the side. So you know what I would do here for this Facebook post? I would highlight everything, and I would just expand it all till it fills the page. There we go. And then we have the Facebook post. That took literally 5 seconds because we've already designed it and we can just resize it and repurpose it. We could also, change this out. And now say you have 4 priests in your family of parishes, and you want to do the same anniversary message for all of them. You can keep this. You could maybe change the background color for each one, make someone blue and add another priest picture and remove the background on it and make them all the same. And repurpose things that you've already made. So these are templates that you're using yourself to avoid having to recreate all of these things. And they're all going to live in your homepage. So I'm going to head back home to Canva. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of the elements in Canva. There are others. And if people would like the next level, the more in-depth of how to get into Canva, either I'd love to walk you through it, or I have some great YouTube people that you can follow, or TikTok people. That's where I get a lot of my Canva tricks. Okay, so we are back on our home screen. Now you've gotten a little bit of a feel of what we can do here. You could also create a document. I don't use that very often. I usually just go in and make a design that's 8.5 by 11 for all of my documents. Instagram stories, flyers, posters. You could type in, let's say you want to create a newsletter. So we're going to click in and we're going to go to templates, and you want to create a newsletter of some sort. Once you click newsletter, all of these templates are going to pop up as available to you, and you're going to find one that you think you can tweak to make your own and put in your own information. And the design portion of it is mostly done for you. All right, back to our home. I'm just clicking on Canva to get us back home. Where are we at? I'm like really ahead of the game. I'm talking fast. So if you have questions or specific things, I'll dive deeper. But yeah, okay. So I'm going to give you, there's still a few things here that I want to show you when it comes to creating. So when we create a design, we can choose a format or a level or area that we want a Facebook post, or we want that banner, or we want an 8.5 by 11. We could type in the flyer. You can also create a custom size. So maybe there's something really specific either for your website and you want to create a custom size, and then you just click here and you can put it in the amount of pixels you need or the amount of inches you need. You need to create a banner or a fridge magnet. I don't know. And you want it to be a specific size. You can create whatever size you need here. Okay, over on, so I'll just navigate. So up here, we already looked at these are things you can make. Here you have the recent designs that you've worked on. These are some of my recent designs. On the left hand, you've got some tabs here. So we're going to click into projects. This again is going to bring you to all of your stuff. So this isn't the templates other people have created, or this is all of your own projects. So here are my recent things. I have some things split into folders. This is actually my personal account that I'm showing you on. I have a diocesan account too, but I have more of my parish stuff on here. So I thought that would be easier to show you. And so I folder all of the things because I use Canva for a lot of different things. So I put things in folders. So you can also put things in your own folders. Here, we're going to look and see, this is all of our designs. If I scroll down, you're going to see a bunch of different, like I said, it's not all church stuff. There's some other stuff in here too. The brand templates. Oh, I can show you how to do that still. So here's where Facebook post or our web buttons, I showed you like those buttons that we have on the web page. I use the same size and the same kind of format. So those are all in there. And here's that web banner that I already used. So those are kinds of some of the things where if you use the same design over and over again, maybe it's a newsletter, maybe it's, you can make a template of it, or if it's a specific size that you need, you always need a specific size, and you can create a template so you know you're getting the right thing for what you need. Images is just all of your uploaded images, and video is all of your uploaded video. So that's what lives in the home project area of your left bar. Again, here is templates. It's just another way to get to those templates that are provided by Canva. Brand Hub. So I'm going to bring you into the Brand Hub. So this is, ignore this one. But here is the East Windsor Catholic brand kit. So this is a pro feature, but you can add a new brand kit for your parish. And I'm just going to click in and show you what kinds of things. So first thing is your logos. So I have like logos with transparent backgrounds or logos on a white background, or just like our little watermark thing. Here are the colors that we use for our social media posts. So I just have saved these colors that we always use. These codes down here are called hex codes, and they're the kind of like magical spell formula for making a color. And so I've saved those. What happens though is if you upload a logo into your brand, like into your brand hub, it will automatically give you the colors in that logo. So it will create a whole color scheme based on the colors in that logo. Or say you have a picture that you're like, I love the colors of this, we want to just use the colors. You could upload a picture and it will pull the colors out of that for you. And here are the colors that we use on our web. So they're kind of similar, but they're, a little darker and moodier. So we keep all of our colors here. Also the fonts that we use. So we try to stick with a small number of fonts that we use for most of our things to kind of keep things on brand and make them all look as consistent as possible. So we use this one as like the fancy, there's two kinds of fancy versions that we use, and this is always the same body Montserrat. That's the font we use for. So it's just all saved in here. So that when I go to, when I'm designing something and I click on fonts in one of my designs, here, let me pull up Bible Camp. And I click on the fonts here. We have the fonts that are currently in the document, but I also have the fonts that are always used for East Windsor Catholic. But you could click between different brands. So this is my little crochet business. I could click through and see the fonts that I use for that as well, if I want to use that brand. I don't though, for this purpose. But if you have different parishes or different groups that use different things, you could click between different brands on your thing. So brand kit, what it does, or your brand hub, is it just keeps all of those elements that you use all the time, the colors, the fonts, the logos, keeps them readily available for you. So like I said, I did this before when we were creating this one. I went into my brand hub and my logos are all there. And so I can just click if I wanted, instead of this little watermark, I wanted the whole East Windsor family logo. I'm going to delete this one and I could put this one on the top and put the whole logo there because I have it readily available. I don't have to go search for it. I don't have to upload it every time. It's just readily available for me. So that takes a little bit of setup to set up all these things, but it makes your designing so much easier because you can just click in. You're like, I know what I need and where to find it. So that is brand kit. Back to my Canva. There's one more thing I want to talk about. Oh, teams. So one of the pro features is that you can have multiple people on your account as on your team. And so basically what they get is they get their own homepage. So all of my recent designs are mine. Maybe this isn't the best version to show you because I'm not actually on a team on this one, but let me click over. No, we're just gonna stay here. So you can create a team and add people to it. So say your secretary and your youth minister and your associate pastor all want access to Canva. You don't have to be all accessing the same account at the same time. You can each log in with your own email address and you're under the same team. And you would be able to share the documents with your team. So again, here, I don't have a team, but if I did, I could, oh, it says Cassandra Skipper's team. Look at that's great. So I can change it so that my team could view my documents, they can comment on them, or they can even edit them. And automatically they're going to be able to show up in their own projects. So if they went to projects and they put who the owner is, anyone on my team, or shared with me things that were shared with me. So there's a way to share amongst your team as well. So if you have a lot of people who want to use your pro, one person just has to sign up for it, and it can be shared with everyone on your team. I don't know if there's a limit on how many people. It may be 10, but the Diocesan Center, we haven't gotten close to there. I think we have 7 people on ours right now. So you can add all these people. You can share elements. You can share brands, the brand hub piece, you can share pieces. You can also have things that are not shared with everyone. Everyone has their own account and signs on and does things on their own. Okay, let me just look at my list and see if there's pieces that I have not shared yet that I planned on, but there's also a few questions. So I'm going to go in and answer some of your specific questions now. So let me just pull those.
Cassandra, are you going to go over how to get the free account?
Oh yes, oh yeah, that's I'm gonna have to go back into my slideshow though. So I'm gonna do this stuff and then I'll go into that. Okay, so let's pull up our Vacation Bible Camp thing again to just use it as our example for when I'm answering some of these questions. So the first question is, when you click and drag on multiple items, is that the same as grouping them together? No. So let's use this little grouping of things here. So in this grouping, I have, if I were to click on things and move them around, I have my font or my text box here that says ages 5 to 12. I have this little, these are two separate elements. They're put together to make it, it looks like it could be the same, but they're two. So I have one here and one here. I put them all together and layer them, and I click and drag and I select all of them. It gives me the option to group them together. So if I click group, now that element all becomes one. And so I just have to click on one of them and the whole thing moves. Or I click on it and I drag it and the whole thing sizes up or down based on it being like one element. Now they're all individual. I could ungroup them and separate them all again. Let's, for the sake of this, group this together. And I'm going to group this one together. And now I'm going to click and drag across these three things. So we have this grouped element of the ages 5 to 12. I have this grouped element, which is July 10th to 14th, and I have the center text. I'm going to go to my position. And this is, where we talk about how we position things. Let's make sure, I'm going to unclick for a second. First, I want to make sure that Vacation Bible Camp is centered on my page. So I'm going to go to position, I'm going to click center, and now it shifted it ever so slightly, but now it is dead center on our document. Now I'm going to click and drag across these three things. Again, these are acting as one. If I didn't group these together, this would not do the same thing. But let's say I want to space these all out evenly across the page. So these three elements, I want them like spaced out evenly. I don't want to say that differently. I'm going to go to space evenly. I'm going to go horizontal because I want to space them out that way. And it's just going to shift. So now they're all technically, although they're all the different sizes, they're spaced out differently. Now this did move this, so it's not centered. So what I would do is I would click and drag on all of them, and I would drag it to the center till I found my center spot. Where are you? Here we go. Now it's centered. So these elements are grouped. And again, you can ungroup them, but it does help sometimes when once you get this piece just how you want it and you don't want to shift it around, it might be helpful to group things together.
Sandra,
yes.
Interrupting for a minute. One of the notes that I had, so sometimes you want to put text over a picture, but it doesn't naturally come with a box behind it. So you have to use the box element. Do you want to, can you do a quick demo of that?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a picture. We're going to add a picture of a cloud, a blue sky. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. This nice blue cloudy sky. And I'm going to make it so that it takes up the whole background of this. And I'm going to send it, oops, I'm going to take it in position. I'm going to go to my layers. You can also click here. You could just send it to the back, or I could go to my layers and I could drag it to the back. Okay, but now we're seeing like Vacation Bible Camp, we can't really see. So we want to put maybe a text box behind this so that you can see the letters. So I'm going to go into Elements and click on the box. There are shortcuts to get this. So again, this is one of those, like, if you know what you're doing already, this might be helpful to you. You can click. So I'm actually going to delete my rectangle. You can click. I'm just typing the letter R on my keyboard and a rectangle pops up. I type the letter C on my keyboard and a circle pops up. I type the letter L on my keyboard and a line shows up. Those are the three I use all the time. There may be more, but there are some elements. So you can just Google like Canva shortcuts. I think you can actually put them in your help button here. There's a help button. So if you need help, a little question down here. And if you put shortcuts, Again, this is, maybe if you're new to this isn't like beyond, you can just go to the elements and click on the things over there. That's okay. But if you've been using it for a while and you want some tips and tricks, there's a lot of shortcuts that you can find and click through there and find the ones that you want to use. Okay, we're going to close out of help. We're going to delete my line. We're going to delete my circle. We're just using my rectangle box. We're going to put it here. Again, we need to put it to the back. So I'm going to position. I'm just going to drag it behind. I really just want it behind my text. Oh, I want it behind my Jesus and kids too. And I'm going to just make it the size. Again, this isn't exactly simple design with the cloudy clouds. This isn't an example of when you would use an image to do this, but just because this is what I have open. But now at least you can see this box. But what else? Another thing you could do here is you still want to see some clouds behind. Oh, here's what we can do. We can click on here. And I don't really want it to be this blue color. I want it to be the exact same color as the sky behind it. So, I mean, we have the colors that we use. We have our brand colors. We have colors that are in the photo. So I could just click and try to find a color that we want from the photo. You can also click on this, add a new color. And there's an eyedropper. Pick a color from the design. This eyedropper is going to let you float around the whole image and pick a color from anywhere. So I want this particular part of the blue sky to show up. And so now that's the color of this box. We can also change the transparency of just about everything. This box right here is your transparency box. So you can make it so that that box becomes a little more transparent and you can see the clouds behind it. And we can, pop this to a different color. You really still can't see it, but if we made that white, now it's kind of popping off the screen because we put that semi-transparent box behind to help us. This is a busy design. This is not something that I recommend, but hopefully it helps you learn something. So one of the questions is, are the Canva graphics royalty free for commercial use? So you can use Canva graphics and sell a document. So I don't know, whatever the reason you would be doing that, as long as it's part of a fuller image. You cannot just sell, you couldn't just put one piece of an illustration here and just sell that. But you can sell a digital version or a digital thing, template, whatever, with the elements on it. As long as it's,
and even just to post them on your social media, they're royalty free.
It's royalty free. As long as you've got that anything that you find in here is free for you to use. You don't have to worry that someone's going to come and question if you should be using it or not. It's part of the Canva piece. Okay. Do you use Canva for your bulletin or as publisher best? This is totally personal preference. So there are some elements of publisher that are nice. One of the things about publisher that I love Canva adds a lot of elements all the time. So I just secretly hope like maybe they'll add it. On publisher, when you're making something, you could like take an element and drag it to the side and it still lives there. And you can like just push it off to the side for a moment and then pop back. That doesn't happen on Canva. If you push it off to the side, like that's gone. I can't click over here and find it. Like that piece is gone. I'm just going to press undo. And so, yeah, so that's one of the elements. There's a lot of text elements, but if I were creating a bulletin, I'm familiar enough with Canva that I would definitely create it in Canva because I would create a template, keep it the same week to week and use it in here. It would just take some initial setup to move from publisher to Canva. Okay. How do you save things like templates and logos in your brand hub? Great question. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you something else here. That's a pro version. So I added these clouds and did all this thing and I really don't like it. So we're going to go into file just to make sure you see what I did. I went up to file and there's regular things. You can create a new design from here. You can save it to a folder. One of the nice things about Canva is it constantly saves things for you. So it's always like, I don't have to remember when I click out, like it's automatically saving the most up-to-date version of your document or of your creation. But it also, for Pro, has a version history. So you can click on this version history and go, oh, I made a change to that yesterday or today, and I want to revert back to yesterday's version because I just don't like what I did, or I need to, I deleted some text that I really need, like I only had it there. You can go back and find autosave pieces from different parts of your creation process. So if I go back to autosave 50 minutes ago, is it gonna be there? Let's see. Oh no, it's just this one. So for the sake of today, it didn't capture exactly where, but this is from when before I started this session, you know, since
But you could probably hit undo enough to get back to
Yes,
where
I
you were
could.
before.
I totally could. At this point, because I haven't closed it out, I can just click undo until my clouds go away. Bye, clouds. Okay, so let's say we love this element. We want to keep this kind of theme going for all of our kids programming all summer. And we want to use the same kind of colors and things. We want to save and create this as a template for our brand. So under share, the same place we go to download, we're going to go to brand templates. Okay, and we're going to create this Vacation Bible Camp Facebook post as a template for us to use again and again in the future. We're going to add it to our brand template file and press publish. And now we're going to go to that folder. It's going to live in our brand templates. We're going to be able to go back and access it over and over again. Where are you? It probably just takes a second to load. I'll just refresh the page, see if it'll pop up now. It's not there yet. It will be there, I promise. Let me go back to home for a second. Oh, see, it's labeling this one. It's just not the kind of thumbnail, the like sneak peek of what it is isn't showing up, but it is a brand template, Vacation Bible Camp brand template. And the original Vacation Bible Camp, I mean, I know there's a lot of versions here, but it's still there. So you can click on brand and say edit original. Do we want to go back and edit the template, or do I want to use this template to create a new one? So when I click this one, it creates a whole new document. We're not touching the original. If I delete something on here, the original stays intact. And this is just creating a new piece using the elements of the template that we want to save. So now we have a brand template using that design. Can I make a design for a bulletin using just a quarter of a letter size page? Yeah. Okay. So question is, can I make a thing that is just a quarter of a page? So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, right? A quarter of an 8 1/2 by 11 page. So we would go in, there's a couple different ways you could do it. One is you could create just that image so we want it to be 4.25 wide, which is half of 8 1/2, and 5.5 high, because that's half of 11. And so now we have this little quarter page. So we're going to design a flyer on here. And then we could, again, one of a couple of things. We could save that as a picture and then create a new document that says, 8 1/2 by 11 and import it and add it and, piece it together. But the other thing you could do is we could create, let's just say, we're going to use this. I don't want to image though, or I want an image, not a video. Okay. Let's do this nice couch one. Okay. I'm just using it because it's here. So let's say this is the lovely little half or quarter page flyer that you want, and you want 4 of them on a page. We're going to go to resize, and we're going to go to 8 1/2 by 11. And again, I would press copy and resize so we don't affect this one. We keep it here. And we're going to create this on a full piece of paper. Now it resized it to the whole paper, but we know that the elements that we created will fit perfectly in a quarter page. So you can also just then resize it to be a quarter page and make 4 of them. The whole background is going to be the same color, and it's actually coming out. So maybe this one didn't work quite how I wanted it to. So it may actually be better in this case to download this as a PNG, download this as an image. I'm going to download it. I'm going to go back to this file. We're going to delete these things. And we're going to upload all of those things that I've saved today, go into my downloads file. So here's the PDF that we saved. Here's the little version we saved. I'm going to click on this one. I didn't title this, so it just says untitled. I end up with a lot of things that say untitled because I forget to title them. And then we're just going to put, you can see how the pink lines are showing I've put it on a quarter page. Okay, but we need 4 of them. So I'm going to click on this. And at the top, you could see that's where we get, you can group things, you can delete them, you can also duplicate them. So if we just duplicate, and we're going to put 1 in each corner. And now we have a quarter page that we put on 4 pages. All right, so that's how I would do that. Again, there's different ways that you can do it, but that is the most simple way, is design it and then save it as a picture and then bring it into an 8.5 by 11. And then we would download this one as a PDF print. All right, I'm going to close out some of these things. Are there any other, before I head into how to get it for free, are there any other questions people have specifically about what to do in Canva? Other elements or things that you don't know how to do? I'm going to give a couple little things for people who maybe use Canva all the time and want a little tip or trick. One of them is if you press Shift-R on a design, it's going to show a ruler on the top and the side. If you click on it, you can drag this like line anywhere, and it'll show you like what point of anywhere on the design. Okay, so there's the center line, or let's say this grass piece. And it's going to be kind of just a marker line for you. This is really helpful when you're doing multi-page documents where you want something to line up on the same place on every page. So if we add a page and I want to put a rectangle in that's green that I also want to be at the same spot on every page, I have that line, that guideline, so I know that it's at the same spot for every page. Or I use this often when I'm doing documents and I want the margin to be at the same point on every page. I'll click and drag over this line. And so I'll line up my margin to this line on the document on every page. It's just helpful when you go page to page to mark things on your document. So there's a little trick that I learned more recently that I use pretty often. Oh, one more thing is, let's say this rectangle here. Every time I'm trying to edit these texts and it just keeps moving on me, and I want to align things and I don't want this to be part of the alignment. It's just, I want it to stay there. I just want this piece to like stay in this spot. If we click this more button, ... there's an option to lock. So you can lock the position only, or you can lock this piece. And if you lock the piece, now if I click and drag on this area, it's not going to select that rectangle anymore. And now I'm just dealing with the text on top. So it lets you deal with things on the top, say that these clouds, and I just want the clouds to stay there. If I lock them into place, then I don't have to worry about clicking on them every time I click and drag. To unlock it, you just click on it again and unlock if you wanted to move it or change its color or whatever. So that's another piece that I use sometimes when I'm fiddling around with designs. Oh, yes, look it. This is going to be my last piece because there's 2 questions here and they're similar and they're about video. So let's pop into our homepage and I'm going to go in and I'm going to click on Instagram story. It doesn't have to be a story. You could do an Instagram post. You could do wherever you want video. But let's say you want to do a Facebook or Instagram story that includes a piece of video. Again, so these are going to give you template options. Maybe we want a peaceful quote. We want to inspire people in the morning, and give people, maybe a prayer moment or, so looking at the templates, if it has a little play button, it means there's video on it. So here's this one. It's got a beach. If you press, if it plays, it's got this lovely like water. And again, we don't need to use this text. We could put a piece of scripture about whatever. Something is not coming to the top of my mind right now, but we could lay that text over here and use that. We can also go into elements, and maybe this isn't exactly the video we want. We want sun bursting through clouds. You don't have to be this specific. You could just put sun. You could put sun ray. Oh, I don't want photos. I want videos. I want videos of a sun bursting through clouds. I'm going to click this one. I'm going to drop this in. Okay. And I want this to go at the back. So those nice little, that box is there. So we can see the words. We're just going to put, you are the air I breathe. Anyone remember that song from, is that how you spell breathe? Breath, breathe. Okay, we're leaving. If that's not how you spell it, don't tell me right now. And so this is a video that we want to put. And again, there's some royalty music in here. So we can put peace. And we can go to audio. And we could find, I'm actually not sharing my audio on the share screen. So you're not gonna be able to see or hear my audio. So I'm not gonna play it, but you could add audio here. And so let's click back into this. This is an 18.5 second video. Maybe you only want this to run for 10 seconds. You can go up to the top and you can clip it down to 10 seconds. And if you put your music on, let's put just perfect, happy acoustic. So now that's playing. Again, you guys can't hear it, but it's there. It's beautiful. I'm going to put peaceful story. And we see it's 10 seconds. We can play it just to test it out. Oh, the sound's playing through me. Yeah, you can hear that through my microphone. And we're going to go to share, download, and you're going to download it as a video format. And again, it will save to your file as a video format. So anywhere you can make that, you want to put the same video on a Facebook post, you can go in and resize it and you can put Facebook post. And now you can use the same thing in your Instagram story as you are on your Facebook post, and you've only created it one time. So you can also add video to things on here. There's something in here. Yeah, there's some like fun, look how cool. So I just clicked on a template. It says, do you want to replace the current page or add as a new page? I'm just replacing it. So fun, reminder. You put a reminder, Jesus loves you today. And that's it, you're done, post it, and you've got an Instagram story for your parish Instagram. Okay, let's go back into the slideshow. How do we get Canva Pro for free? So at the top of the Canva page, there's all these things. They're always up there. Design Spotlight, Business Education, Plans and Pricing. That's where you're going to go. And you're going to land on this page. It says Canva for nonprofits. Apply now. It's free. So all of our parishes are eligible for this because what it requires is a CRA, not like a charity license number. So you're going to click into Plans and Pricing. You're going to click on Apply now. It's free. I think actually you have to go Plans and Pricing, not for profit, then to here. So that's the step-by-step. Click on Plans and Pricing. You're going to go to not for profit. You're going to go Apply now. It's free. And you're going to go Get Started. And here's what you're going to need to apply for the nonprofit. There's 4 steps. You're going to put in that you are a registered nonprofit organization, which you are. you're going to plug in your organization. So you need to use the organization whose charitable number you have. So each of our parishes have their own charitable number. So you're not going to put in East Windsor Catholic Family of Parishes. That's not the charity. The charity is St. John Vianney Catholic Parish or whatever that is. I clicked it in. It's not there. So it's going to like populate with a bunch of options. And you're going to scroll down to the end. You're going to type all of yours and you go, I can't find my nonprofit. You're going to click that button because you're not going to be able to find yours. And then press continue. Now maybe I should. Anyways. So you're going to get to this next spot, page 2. You're going to need to put in your parish name. Again, you need the parish of whose charity number you're going to use. The website, again, you're going to link that to, it's probably, if you have a family of parish website, that's okay. Registry institution, this is a drop down. You're going to click to Canada Revenue Agency, and then an organization ID. You're going to put in that CRA charitable ID number. You're going to collect from wherever that is. You're going to ask your finance person to help you find that. You're going to confirm your details. They do say that using an email address that matches the organization is going to help you. We all have DOL emails, so I don't know how much that's actually going to help, but you're going to put in your first name, last name, and confirm email. The last step is you need some sort of document, income tax exemption letter, some sort of financial document, governing document that proves that you have a nonprofit status. And you're just going to upload that file, a PDF, a JPEG, or a PNG file. You're going to put that there and you're going to press submit. Like I said, the diocese has done this. Olwen did it for us about this time last year. I've done it with the theater company I work for, and we've gotten them approved within a day to a few days. So once you press that submit, someone reviews it. But if you uploaded, if you've got your right number and you've got some sort of documentation that you have that number, then you are going to be able to get that approval. And all of those Canva Pro features are going to be available to you for free. That wraps up all that I've got. Look at it, right on time.
Awesome. I don't know if I'm on the screen.
I can stop sharing.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. I think I'm there now. As much as I use Canva, I've learned a lot too. She's in the office beside me. She should show me these things. She doesn't.
You can just come watch me play on Canva.
She doesn't know what I don't know. So, there's another question up there. Just a thank you. The IT team is working on the next, at least September to December's simple solutions workshops, webinars. So if you have any particular things that you want to learn about Microsoft, the 365 package, all of those things, let me know and I will pass it on to them, or you can shoot something to Rob Schoenberger directly. I know they're doing some planning this summer to get the next series up and ready. So that's all we have today. Have a great summer, and we will see you back in September. That any information will come through parish briefings as usual. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.